Hey guys, Christy here with Make Everyday Colorful, and tonight I wanted to do a video talking about socializing your kids if you homeschool. And I really wanted to bring this up since I know that a lot of people are on the fence about homeschooling, and I hear this being one of the biggest things. Well, how is my kid going to get socialized? Now, I know with us going through a pandemic, that's a little bit hard because of social distancing, but I just wanted to give you the rundown of everything you could do to socialize your kid, whether even if you weren't in a pandemic, and then you can decide what you think is safe for you and your family. So here are ways that you can socialize your kids. Now, my kids are still very young, but I'm going to name to you some of the ways we socialize them and other things that I know other people do to socialize their older kids. So already, we meet up once a week at a local park, an outside park, not like a playground park, which those are cool too. This is like a state park, is what I'm trying to say. So we could go to the beach area, we can go on a nature walk, we could go to the splash pad, we could go to the playground area, we could just climb all over the trees. And we have other moms that meet us there. Sometimes we'll even put an event in our local homeschool group. So that's another really important thing. If you're going to be homeschooling, I would highly suggest you join your state's homeschool group and your local homeschool group. So in Louisiana, it's parishes. So I joined my parish's local homeschool group. So if they post an event for anything, then I can, go to that event and meet up with other homeschool moms. I've actually made friends already through this. I've only been doing it a short time where I've actually been active in the homeschool group. Prior to that, I was kind of just hanging out with other friends whose kids were around my age, but a lot of them started going to school. And I was just doing pre-K and preschool, and now we're getting into kindergarten. So anyway, so I've already made new friends this way. So I have a list of stuff, and I'm just going to kind of be looking at that as I'm telling you this. Okay, one other thing that you can do to one other thing, there's many other things that you can do to socialize your kids. School sports and other sports outside of school. So I don't know if you know this, and I don't know if it depends on the state you're in, but you have to pay school taxes, right? Whether you're homeschool or not. So your kids can participate in things at your local public school. Your kid can most likely join teams at your school, like football or soccer or whatever you have, basketball. They can join clubs like 4-H, or maybe you have a chess club or something like that. So that is another way to socialize your kids. If you think that you can't do those things just because you do not go to your local public school, well, you need to look into it, because you probably can. And they can probably make friends that way. Co-ops. Okay, so co-ops are, normally they meet once a week, and it's a bunch of homeschoolers, so it's the same homeschoolers every week. So your kids are seeing the same kids every week, kind of like you would do. I mean, it's not daily like in a classroom, but it is once a week. And sometimes they may do maybe just one subject together, or maybe it's multiple subjects, or maybe you choose, like, I want my kid to do science and history of this co-op, or maybe, maybe it's just language arts. So you choose what your kid's doing in this co-op. And co-ops are designed different ways depending, maybe like different learning styles and stuff. So you kind of have to see what's in your area, what's available. Like maybe there's Charlotte Mason co-ops or classical conversation co-op. So you just kind of have to look into it. But your kids would be with the same kids every week or every other week, however they meet up. So they're right there. They're making friends, okay? I told you about the clubs. Okay, I put on here park days, which I kind of already talked about the park days, like we go to the park. So I'm also talking about playground parks. So your local homeschool group might say, okay, everybody, we're going to meet up next Wednesday at 1 o'clock at such and such park. And, just to play, or hey, everybody, we're going to meet up at such and such state park, bring your Nerf guns, we're going to have a Nerf gun war, or whatever it is. So you can make events, you can ask the admins in your group, like, hey, I have this really cool idea, let's do this, and they can set up a day, whether it be a park day or whatever it is. So that's a way, and you can see the same people over and over, you can make friends, and you can do things beyond just the homeschool group setting. Okay, so homeschool field trips, like to maybe a museum, maybe a science museum or a history museum, maybe a field trip to the zoo, maybe a field trip to a farm. I put, nature walk. Maybe you can have a field trip of, I say a nature walk, like maybe there's an area where I'm at, there's like a lot of nature stuff. So we can maybe schedule a field trip in our homeschool group well, we all go to the nature trail and have a hike together and discuss things, kind of like a nature study, and just, you know, goof around, have fun. Another thing I put on here, I actually joined a homeschool, and it was like a Louisiana homeschool hiking club. So these homeschoolers meet up, and it's probably once every couple months, and they'll go on a hike somewhere. So it's different parts of the state. So sometimes it could be close, sometimes you might have to travel. So there's, again, seeing the same people, you're forming the friendships, your kids get to be with other kids, you get to go on these hikes for a couple miles. And the other thing with the socializing I wanted to throw in there, so I went to public school I went to private and public school. So I was with the same age kids all day long, every single day. So one of the benefits about these groups, when you get together with all these other homeschoolers, is that your kids are interacting with kids not only the same age as them all day, or let's say within a couple grades, because you have recess, you know, and you have other kids around at your public school or your private school. They're interacting with kids of all age levels. So they're learning how to maybe help take care of babies, or how to talk to other adults besides just the teacher or the custodian or whatever. They're learning how to talk to all kind of different adults. So they're learning a lot of different, I want to say, aspects or levels of, you know, socialization, because they're interacting with people of all different ages versus usually just the same age peer group all day. So that's another cool thing about, I'm saying, the socializing in homeschool group. Church. If you are a church-going homeschool family like myself, you could join your kids, depending on their age. They could maybe be in a small group. They could maybe be in a church band. Maybe they have like an acting class at church, like they do skits or something. Maybe, let's see what else I have on here. Sunday school. Every week for Sunday school, they could be with the same kids. They can go to church summer camp. They're meeting kids there. And while I'm on the subject of camps, summer camps, I mean, it doesn't even have to be a church summer camp. It could be whatever your kid's into. It's just a summer camp, so they can play with kids that way too. They're around kids. Let's see. Oh, another thing, like my daughters do ballet. So your kid could be in some kind of extracurricular activity. They can be in ballet, dance, and gymnastics. We've already said sports. Maybe they can take karate, or maybe they can start their own group, or they can find other groups in the local area with kids their age. Like maybe your child's really into cooking. Maybe they have a class for kids that age range to teach them how to cook. Maybe there's a sewing group. Maybe there's, let me see what else I put on here. Maybe they're into arts and crafts. Maybe they can take an art class with a group of kids, you know, or really any interest they're in. And I mean, they can even start their own groups. Like I remember, and this was not school related at all, I remember being an adult when I first started hanging out with my husband. I don't even think we were really dating then. Him and his roommates, or his roommates, would meet up, I think like every Sunday to do like go and throw frisbee or whatever. So I mean, they can even make up their own group, like, hey, we're gonna meet up every week and we're gonna throw frisbee, or we're gonna meet up every week and play soccer or whatever, you know, at the park or whatever. So you really can make up your own groups too. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be led by somebody else. You can start it and you think, well, that's really hard, but no, it's not. You can just set up events like, hey, this is what we're gonna do every week, this is where we're gonna do it, and I'd love for people to come. This is my kids' ages if you want to come, so we can make friends, and it just be something we do every week, and it'd be awesome. Okay, so like I said, I have younger kids, so some of this might apply to me. So I put on here the Children's Museum. So if you still have kids that are interested in the Kids Museum or the zoo or whatever, so you can get a membership there, and you'd be like, you know, for instance, in my area, okay, so I have a membership to the Kids Museum. We have the zoo, aquarium, insectarium, and then there's another place called the Parenting Center. So all of these places that I have memberships, I could get on, you know, either hang out with friends I already know that have memberships there, or post again in the homeschool group. They're like, hey, this is where we're going this week, or this is where we're going tomorrow, or whatever. Would anybody like to come with us? And so your kids are getting out again, so you can be having to go and hang out at the zoo with your other friends that have the membership. Or the Parenting Center, like I said, where we have that in my town. I know it's not in every town, but it's basically a building with an outside play area, an inside play area, and they have like Mommy and Me classes, arts and crafts. They have ballet over there. That's where we do our ballet. I'm trying to think what else we offer. They have like kids in the kitchen sometimes. I mean, they have all these things they do with these kids. They have little parties and everything. So my kids are always around other kids. They're always doing something. Oh, let's say your kid's a little bit older and they're like into working out or like I said, ballet and all that. But they could maybe meet friends at the gym. They can go to the gym, you know, a couple times a week in the afternoon and meet up with friends and they're, you know, working out together. So that's another way to do it. I mean, it can really, I mean, the options are endless. Okay, they really are endless. Oh, another way they could volunteer time. So this is something I've actually talked about to my husband and other people too. Once my kids are old enough, I would like them to be able to, and I'm going to probably I'm going to do it too, like volunteer time, maybe at a soup kitchen or a local food drive or just something with the church, you know, just anything really something maybe that just interests them. You know, they can volunteer time and they can make friends. Let's say it's something they do, you know, not just, I mean, even if it is just once a year, but let's say it's something they kind of did on a regular basis, like maybe once a month or once every couple months. So they're becoming familiar with people in that setting too, maybe making friends, seeing the same people over and over. And even if they're not seeing the same people over and over, it doesn't really matter because they're still socializing, they're still out there, they're still talking to people, they're helping people, they're building great skills, you know. I say being selfless because they're volunteering, so that's another way, you know, I want to say an act of kindness to the community. So they're building some good life skills there as well. I put take local classes that interest them. We kind of already talked about that, like cooking or sewing or whatever they would be interested in. A local theater group, so they actually have, you know, your kid could join like theater. I already know that they have one even for younger kids in my area, so your child could join something like that. That'd be fun. Oh, and another thing that a lot of homeschool people don't realize that homeschoolers do, they're always like, well, your kid's gonna miss out on all the fun stuff of high school. They're gonna miss out on prom and homecomings and all this and that. And dances, guess what? Where I live, they do all that. I don't know if it's really a homecoming dance because, you know, we're kind of all doing our own school thing, but they do dances for whatever age they start doing that at. I'm not really sure. I guess I would say probably like middle school on up. They do proms, they do graduation parties. You do not need to feel like your kid is going to miss out on anything. If you know what, if you live in an area where they don't already have dances started for kids your child's age, or proms or graduation parties, you can start it. You can get on that local homeschool group. You can talk to the admin and be like, hey, I heard about other places they're doing this. I want to do proms too. I want my kids to be able to have a prom and a dance. I think they would love that. And I got to do it and I loved it and I want to do it too. So it's the limit of your imagination. I have heard moms say, if my kids have any more social outings, we're not going to have time for school. Like they have to turn things, I hear it all the time, I have to turn things down. We do not have enough time to go place like 7 days a week, do stuff all day. Like I don't have time to do it all. So these kids are getting very well socialized. And I'm even going to throw in some other stuff. I just thought about maybe live in an area where they can join a swim team. That's another thing I was just thinking about. So there was something else I was thinking about too. I don't know. I mean, like I said, it just really depends on where you're at. Maybe you live in an area where they can go go snorkeling with groups of people. Maybe they can go, I don't know, rock mountain climbing. I don't know, just whatever's around. I mean, there's just things you can do. You can find a local science group and go exploring together. I mean, you really can make it what you want it to be. You will be turning down stuff. As a matter of fact, I've gone so many places this week with my kids, and they are young, okay? We've gone so many places with friends this week. I'm exhausted. Like, today, I was so excited to just stay home. As a matter of fact, I think my kids were excited, even though they may have not said they were happy. They 2 out of the 3 crashed and took naps. Like, they woke up, ate breakfast, played a while, and then they were, back asleep. And that hardly ever happens. They normally don't even take naps. So, just to show you, how much stuff that we're doing, we are doing so much that we're even tired. And like I said, I know with it being a pandemic, if you're watching this during the pandemic, it is kind of hard. We normally just, like I said, do outside gatherings at parks. So that's what we've been doing all week. A lot of park days, but you can make it work. You can make it fun for your kid. You don't have to stay in your house all day. You don't have to, not socialize with people. You make it what you want it to be. You have to put, you might have to put forth the effort a little bit. But if you put yourself out there, even if it's hard, like I could say that I'm probably kind of, I don't want to say I have anxiety, but something like that. Like sometimes I get really shy or awkward around people that I don't know, but I've had to learn to like just put myself out there. And we've made some great friends since I moved in this area, because I'm not even from here. And it's because, I put myself out there. So please do not feel like you will be stuck in this little bubble of your house and never have friends, and this is just your life, and your kid's gonna be your poor little kid that doesn't have any friends, because you can make it anything you want it to be. Well, I hope this helped you to realize that you can have social life and your kid will be socialized, and it will be a great experience, because versus public school where you have to be at school on certain days, or you're going to be marked absent, you can fail for the year. With homeschooling, you can literally do anything you want. You can get up, do your schoolwork, and then take off and go to the park the rest of the day. You can get up, do your schoolwork, go to the zoo the rest of the day. Or you can get up, go wherever, to the amusement park, come home, and then do your schoolwork. And you've hung out with your friends that morning, and now you're doing your schoolwork. I mean, it's really whatever you want it to be. You can make it anything you want. And it's just so awesome to have those days. Like if my husband has a day off of work, I don't have to go, oh, well, the kids are in school. We can't go to that museum that we've been wanting to go to. Sorry, because I don't want it to count against them at school. We can go, oh, well, you know what? Today we're just going to skip out on doing homeschool, and we'll just catch up on another day that we would have been off, because this is really fun, and I want to take advantage of being able to go somewhere with a friend or my husband or my mom or whatever it is. So please do not be discouraged. Please give it a try, and I think you'll really like the outcome. I think you'll realize how much freedom you have and how much fun you can have as a homeschooler, and that you do not have to be stuck at your house all day. I hope this helps you out. If you like what you saw, check out my channel and subscribe to my other videos, and thank y'all for watching, and have a blessed day.